Nekkal millionaire at Afriso. $3.6 million is to give away. Simply buy a minimum of $10 in credit or data worth $10 to stand a chance of being a millionaire. To enter the weekly and monthly draw, send WIN by SMS to 772 or just call 772 for free. Remember, the more you buy credit or data, the more your chances of being a millionaire. Be that Nekkal millionaire at Afriso, right?
Hello and welcome to the Star TV Newsroom. We're broadcasting from our studios in Serakunda. I am Maria Madem and many thanks for joining us. Let's begin with our headlines. President Barrow vows to boost infrastructural development in rural areas. Lack of storage facilities creates massive losses for watermelon vendors. ECOWAS concludes 4-day workshop on information sharing for gender development projects. The Mansakonko Area Council's contractor testifies at the ongoing Local Government Commission of Inquiry on the international news. South Africans demand permanent Gaza ceasefire during pro-Palestinian march. This is not for comments. Stay tuned. Many thanks for joining us. Now, President Barrow, as part of his Meet the People's Tour, has made a resolute pledge to enhance infrastructural development in rural areas. This announcement took place during a joint meeting held in the Lower River region, where the President expressed his commitment to improving the lives of rural population. Hadijaju reports.
One of the primary focuses of this commitment is the provision of electricity and road infrastructure in Kiang, which has historically lacked these essential amenities. Upon arrival in Kiang, President Barrow received a warm welcome from the residents as he engaged with them directly. The meeting held in Quinella was organized for the constituencies of Kiang East, Kiang Central and Kiang North. During this interaction, Lang Manjang, the alcalde of the village, greeted the president and his delegation, citing the challenges faced by his community and fervently appealed to the president for assistance. Lamin Sanyang, the chief of Kiang Central, expressed his deep appreciation for the road infrastructure brought to the people of Kiang by President Barrow.
Kabada ntolni wolbe nyoy nyamen musona kelem kaira tan tolle denta futa nyomo nata kenna problème oti ete president on nata ke modi ni la man sakunda aleo sona yandi oto ala ka julojo alama ala yejo
Women representative Ndainget played with the president to assist in establishing gardens and equipping the youths with valuable skills.
His Excellency President Adam Barrow Meluna wala munyuntiko ila gadi nolu ila ta conference center jam ebe bo holol fana nyini kam His Excellency President Adam Barrow surtout Jula Far Wall.
Minister of Tourism and Culture, Hamad Nkeba, reaffirms President Barrow's-led government's commitment to fulfilling the infrastructural needs of the people of Kiang after years of lack of development.
nde o laari listo o wi yo ambulance mbatte nder kabaɗa yoni ɓeyde ndi ɓeyda o wi yo boholuji asayo kabaɗa boholuji gasa e kabaɗa fof transport ji gadda e kabaɗa fof gonɗo mon ne ligge adama baro ala ko heddori mon hande.
In response to the concerns raised by various speakers, President Barrow assures the audience that his government is fully dedicated to revitalizing Kiang and recovering the lost opportunities experienced during the former regime.
Andum bi nga mira President Barrow la julo yo kabada gol bon sa foye ko nga fen ki yen judu talale bar kabada gol ya mutam fele yen support nya wo nya nyama and yo support men kenna ila julole ben no nyanta ko julo jola odo kawala mbal la julo jokande ma bam falo be continue la dro.
President Barrow commenced his constitutional tour on November 20th, 2023, and it is scheduled to last until December 6, 2023, with Banjul as the final destination. For Star TV News, I am Hadijaju.
Now, watermelon vendors in the Gambia are facing numerous challenges in their pursuit of cultivating and selling these beloved fruit. The vendors who rely on them for their livelihood have shown immense determination despite the obstacles they encounter. Star TV's Baikor engaged some of these help people along the Caraba Avenue.
Rainy season have just ended. Farmers have started benefiting from the fruit of their labors. But how are the watermelon vendors coping amidst a surge market?
Watermelon, which is not only delicious but also a symbol of hope and prosperity for the vendors, holds significant importance in the local community. Its vibrant red flesh, refreshing taste, and numerous health benefits make it a favorite among both locals and tourists. Rich in vitamins A and C, watermelons serve as a natural source of hydration and a powerful antioxidant and contributes to overall well-being by aiding digestion, promoting healthy skin, and supporting cardiovascular health. However, one of the major challenges faced by watermelon vendors in the Gambia is the lack of adequate storage facilities. The hot climate in the Gambia makes it difficult to preserve watermelon for an extended period, resulting in limited shelf life and potential revenue loss for the sellers. This situation has led the community to exhibit a unique entrepreneurial spirit in finding innovative ways to overcome this obstacle. A vendor at Kereva Avenue, Lamin Kamara, who disclosed that he has been selling watermelon for more than 2 decades, appeals to the government to come to their aid by providing them with storage facility.
The government should help us because the watermelon which is cultivated in the Gambia is too much and it is consumed within a short period. But if we have a storage facility, we can sell watermelon the whole year.
But since I'm 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or 1 month time, killing. Because of a water killing and
a Baka watermelon merchant, Yankuba Jara, shared his experience of spending nights at his place to protect his produce from being stolen by mischievous kids. He highlighted the difficulties in dealing with parents' complaints if any confrontation occurred.
The kids always come to steal my melon during the night, and if you touch them, their parents will complain bitterly. You end up having problems with them. That is among the challenges I'm facing.
Another seller, Amaduba, laments his fear of ongoing roadside clearance because for him, watermelons cannot be sold inside a shop.
The truth is, if we are asked to vacate here with our watermelons, we will suffer because there is no place allocated for us to sell, and a lot of our watermelons are spoiling.
Even when second this regular, it's okay. Guys, when you mune bala be ñu paré jaay suñu xali all this year. Alhamdulillah.
Despite these challenges, the watermelon vendors in the Gambia continue to strive, driven by their love for this juicy fruit and the benefit it brings to their community. Their dedication to cultivating and selling watermelon serve as a testament to their resilience and determination in the face of adversity. Therefore, it is crucial to address the lack of storage facility to support the vendors in maximizing their revenue and ensuring a sustainable livelihood for them and their families. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Baikor.
Now moving on, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, successfully conducted a 4-day workshop focused on information sharing and project selection for the implementation of the flagship programs in the ECOWAS Gender Development Center. The workshop took place in the Gambia and aimed to enhance regional collaboration and empower women through education, health and economic support. The ECOWAS Gender Development Center, established in January 2003 under the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, serves as a pivotal organization in promoting gender equality and empowerment in the region. The recent workshop sought to advance the social and economic well-being of women and girls through implementation of projects across the 15 member states. With a specific focus on education, health and economic empowerment, the EGDC has been actively developing and supporting programs to address the needs of women in the region. Notable initiatives include the program to promote young girls in specialized technical and vocational training, offering excellent scholarships, as well as the program to support women involved in agriculture, marine and handicraft processing. Mrs. Sandra Olate Fatu is the director of the ECOWAS Gender Development Center.
By implementing these programs in member countries, the EGDC aims to provide these two target groups with the qualifications and skills necessary for their active participation in the social, economic, and political life of the regional communities. Ladies and gentlemen, by inviting you to this information sharing and selection workshop for the scholarship and agricultural processing projects, the EGDC's intention is to give all the players involved in issues relating to the education and economic, social and political empowerment of women and girls the opportunity to contribute actively to the effective and efficient implementation of the selected projects.
The workshop facilitated the first meeting of the regional committees responsible for selecting beneficiaries and reviewing project proposals submitted by ECOWAS member states. The session, which commenced on Monday 27th and extended until the 30th of November 2023, aimed to advance the gender agenda and foster regional integration. Honorable Abdullah Kohli, the Chief of Staff of the ECOWAS Commission, acknowledges the participants' commitment throughout the 4-day discussions and emphasized on the need to focus on making the project's intervention impactful.
You want to make sure that whatever support you give today bears fruit tomorrow. It may not be immediate, but it should be seen at some point in time. If it is not seen, then it means your intervention has not achieved the desired outcome or result. So let's try and refocus and ensure that we focus on few things that can make an impact. On this note, I want to thank you all for the time that you have spent in these 4 days sharing experiences, and I want to say that the journey is just beginning. Once you identify projects or beneficiaries, in the case of scholarships, beneficiaries in the area of transformation, the big thing now is to ensure that implementation is done right and in a timely manner.
Ambassador Mieta Lily French, the permanent representative of ECOWAS in the Gambia, said ECOWAS through the EGDC gives pride of place to the integration of gender equity and equality issues and the promotion of human rights in the main priorities of its action.
The vision of ECOWAS is of a fair and equitable region where men and women contribute equitably to development. This ever-growing interest is part of the global context where today gender mainstreaming appears as a fundamental and effective strategy in any development process that aims to be sustainable and harmonious. In line with this ECOWAS vision, the EGDC is constantly working with member states to create enabling conditions to achieve this ambition through the development of programs in key sectors affecting women, girls, and young people, such as health, education, agriculture, and economic recovery. The two programs covered during these workshops are also in line with the ECOWAS Vision 2050 and its Pillar 3 on the economic empowerment and the empowerment of women and girls and the EGDC strategic plan.
These workshops signifies a critical step towards achieving gender equality and promoting the empowerment of women within the ECOWAS region. Maria Madam, reporting for Star TV News. In the final leg of his Meet the People's tour in the Central River region, President Barrow visited the ambitious ecosystem-based adaptation EBA Central Food Processing Center at Brikama, commending its progress. This initiative is expected to have a significant impact on local communities, supporting their economic development and climate adaptability. Adijaju again.
This large-scale project aimed at effective and low-risk climate resilience building for disadvantaged communities in several regions of the Gambia has been made possible through a $20 million grant from the Green Climate Fund of the Paris Agreement, led by the Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, and backed by the United Nations Environment Programme as the accredited entity. The $20 million EBA project spans 6 years and comprises 3 main components: the restoration of degraded forests and agricultural landscapes, the establishment and promotion of climate-smart natural resources enterprises, and the institutional strengthening and capacity building. During President Barrow's visit, consultant Momodu Bitey provided insight into the various food items that will be processed at the center once it is completed.
We normally produce natural products like agricultural products. Okay. We have about 7 other centers, like these baobabs, the wenjos, granules. There are a lot of agriculture, cashew, honey, mangoes. All those things can be processed and imported and packaged. We have a packaging room and a storage room.
President Barrow lauded the project and encouraged both government and private institutions to collaborate actively, participating in ensuring its ongoing success. The primary objective of this venture is to enhance the climate resilience of rural communities while fostering the sustainable use of natural resources. In addition to the EWA project, President Barrow and his delegation also visited the Teneng Fara Rural Water Supply Project. This collaboration between the Gambia and the Japanese government aims to provide rural communities with adequate access to clean drinking water, an essential aspect of promoting public health and well-being.
But what we normally do now, what we do now is we'll engage the communities. We started doing that so that they have their bylaws, so that they use that bylaws to manage the system. That is when to open it, so that, as I said, the rest are 30 years, but the pump we have to manage, otherwise it goes not beyond 10 years. But so what we normally do is, in order for them to be able to gather more funds, we'll ask them to agree on when to open and when to close.
Later in the day, the President proceeded to a joint meeting at Dalaba in the Nyamina constituency in CRR, where several speakers thanked President Barrow and anchored their challenges in the area of farming tools, roads, and adequate health care, among others, in which they appealed to the government to address their needs.
Salari hande nyamina wes mingala la bikendeji. Mingala kura. Minen rewbe be minen tampi minen jogi sukabe be jangi be ngala liggéeyaji. Den tampere nde min nangi hewbe bidda men be jayi ngol lawol les. Minen toro Adama Barrow do ligorani ni kombo ha yu arat ha Gambia fofoti minen jido fewnora min non. Minen bawo makko hande minen bawo makko bimbi seede mudum makko o yidum gila presidential election ha tukki nyalande hande de ko makko tan yawtata min batta fisali ha min degintina o de ko minen jidi o yettito min o la o konta minen yibbe
ako foti wala fanna
waxoon naa la manka mankunda
nga koy nu manka mankunda
nga jàppale ñun yuut si
isin de ma do foti kewol
si wàllu mbayteef bi
samala karola
ndax loolu lañ xam
ka tudal ngawle lo
muy trakita
wala trakito di
ak jorong yi ñu koy liggéey
ani jorong be do ko kala menna
bi loolu jàddee wéy.
The President of the Republic of the Gambia and Commander-in-Chief of the Gambia Armed Forces, His Excellency Adama Barrow, moved to Brikama, where he highlighted his government's effort in bringing development for the nation, ranging from electricity, infrastructural developments, health, adequate water supply, respectively.
mi yiɗa mbaɗon fisali
malla faade pisali
bokkuɗo ma kaccitaari so okkima bottaari so wi o kat ma hirande a foti wola
mo be so dasamala so kontola ni sima o sira tela e sino be sima dal
miɗo andi gila jooɗimi hande golle kewɗe mbaɗi nder ñaamina
ngalon kabrin sidani mbiɗen koɗo ko jala keɗa ñamina ko
kono noon amata haalin ni golle ɗe fof wawtake waɗede ñalande wonde
sar amade ɓen ko wolen ɗo waɗede keɗora lukkilinna
won haalɓe ɗo kulle courant
ɗo e courant ko ko jang
courant noon mi heewani ɗum haalde joni
aɗa courant ɗe wona kuma foma siyasirande
ɓayde miɗa andi kulle courant mi gayni e kulle courant e nder gandiya
aɗa courant ko sa mbiɗa ɗum bandila courant kola kam mbiya jang
kala giwɗo ɗo haysi ko esirawo ma kawruɗa
kadi membaɗe hanini biɗande ɓenda
si o lamdimama nde saare amen heɓa courant wiɗo président Barrow wi on keɓa courant
neya maari e ñinin ka falla saɗe courant sa faye nafmanɓe kew ko jaɓɓu caɗeɓe courant
so heewi ene 2025
gani 2025 sango
wallahi taɗo fof wonti courant fof woni poye.
The Gambian leader reaffirmed his government's dedication to addressing all challenges anchored during the Meet the People's tour. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Hadijaju.
That was Hadijaju reporting there. Now, as the Local Government Commission of Inquiry continues to conduct hearings, the latest witness to testify before the Commission on Wednesday is Yaya Sane, who served as a contractor for the Mansakonko Area Council in the Rover River region. The session focused on matters regarding overpaying contractors, among other things. Yaya Sane brings us this report.
The Tuesday's session begins with an inquiry into the issue of overpaying contractors, a matter that the council has been accused of. It is alleged that the council paid the contractors an amount of $5,100, which is more than what they were supposed to receive.
It was an agreement between me and council. It's supposed to be $475.
Yes.
Yes, which I agreed.
Absolutely.
Yes, and they paid me $10,000. And I told you that $10,000 has nothing to do with this contract.
How will we know that?
Yeah, I believe council should have that request with them.
No, you should have your request. You should have the request you have sent to the council.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah, but right now, I am not sure I have that with me.
Your overall payment is more than the $10,000. You are paid $5,100. $510. That is $35,000 is more than what you are supposed to be paid. So even if the $10,000 is for something else, let's assume, which was happening around about the same time that you are being paid. So why are you saying the $10,000 is for a youth activity when it is the same time you had a contract with the area council? It doesn't make sense.
Mr. Sane clarifies that the additional amount of $10,000 is not included in the contract payment. He states that the proper payment for the contract is $475,000. During his testimony, the witness claims to have no recollection of any deposit made in his name.
Honest and truthful and tell us why that would be the case, because your amount, what you're supposed to be paid, is $475,000. That is not including, that is excluding your withholding tax. So you have to pay about $170,000, $180,000, close to that amount with respect to withholding tax, which you'd never paid. So for you to have checks in your name, that is understandable if it corresponds with the contract. But for you to be overpaid and for you to be now paying back to the area council's account. What would have warranted you to make payments to the area council account? And like I said, the day you were paid this $71,250, when you withdrew that money, that was the same day that you now paid back $10,000 into the account. Why was that the case, sir?
Yeah, that is why I said I cannot recall that.
But you can't sit down here and say you can't recall.
Yeah, exactly. You know, these are issues where, I had to know exactly why is it that I deposit that amount.
But that's for you to know. I have given you the check, the bank statement.
Yeah, I see the bank statement,
yes,
and I see it in my name.
Yes.
Yeah, I cannot dispute that.
Exactly.
But to tell you exactly what is the purpose of the deposit, no, for now I can't recall.
Mister,
that.
Look, you have a contract. If your contract is legitimate, if there is no form of illegitimacy in your contract and in your award, you will tell us exactly why these transactions. No. The first 75 was not what was paid into your account exactly a true form of a check. You were being given much more than you were supposed to be given.
No, I've not received any money aside from this 475.
No. But
ESQ Jenababa, the chairperson of the commission, also takes charge of the questioning, asking the witness about the documents he had submitted to the CEO of the council for his contract, which Mr. Sane responds to. The witness continues that he cannot recall any of the deposits mentioned by the council. These included $10,000 check, which he claimed was for the youth cleansing exercise service in Mansakonko, as well as $10,000 he paid into his account and other related issues. Awasane for Star TV News.
Now from that story by Awasane, let's take a short commercial break, and when we return, the news continues. Stay tuned.
With AfriCell, you're never out of credit even if you're out of cash. Borrow up to $250 as credit with the AfriCell Cholera Credit. Send a blank SMS to 152 to activate the Cholera Credit. AfriCell Cholera Credit, the solution for you.
Send money to Gambia for free! You can now send money via MoneyGram to AfriMoney in Gambia anytime, anywhere. Simply go on to MoneyGram.com or the app and select Pay through AfriMoney to send. Make sure the receiver is registered on AfriMoney in Gambia or get them to dial *777# to register. Instantly, the money comes into their AfriMoney wallet. No hassle, no wait times, complete ease. Cash out at any AfriMoney agent or AfriCell outlets. Free cash out, no sending fees.
Welcome back after the short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the Star TV Newsroom, and we're broadcasting from our studios in Serekunda. I'm Maria Madem, and thanks for joining us. Let's now take a look at some international news. Members of South African political parties and civil society organizations marched through the streets of Johannesburg on Wednesday, demanding a permanent ceasefire in the Gaza Strip as they mark the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people. Rival political parties, including the ruling African National Congress and the left-wing opposition Economic Freedom Fighters, were among many demonstrators who marched across the Nelson Mandela Bridge to protest against Israel's military offensive in Gaza against Hamas. Al Jazeera's Famida Mila reports from Johannesburg.
Various events are being held across the world to mark the UN International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people. In the South African city of Johannesburg, trade unions and members of civil society have been holding demonstrations calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. South Africa's parliament voted last week recommending the closure of the Israeli embassy in the country and a suspension of diplomatic ties. Fabien Miller has more from Johannesburg.
The call for a free Palestine resonates with many South Africans because of South Africa's apartheid history. They say that Palestinians are going through exactly what people of color in South Africa went through for decades. And some analysts have drawn parallels between an apartheid Israel and an apartheid South Africa. They say two countries that worked together from 1948 to achieve their objectives. And many people here say they're hoping that their presence at this demonstration will bring change.
It is not the war that started on the 7th of October as other people want to claim. It started 75 years ago when that area, that region was occupied by the Israelis.
I'm here to really just express our outcry and horror at the 247 healthcare workers that have been killed in Gaza, the hospitals that have been bombed, and the civilians and children that have been targeted.
Dozens of organizations have come together in Johannesburg. They're made up of political parties, NGOs, civil society organizations, but they all have one thing in common. They're calling for a free Palestine and an end to the genocide. They say they also want the South African government to cut diplomatic ties with Israel. That has been under debate for a number of weeks now. The South African Parliament has held a vote where the resolution was passed that South Africa should indeed sever ties with Israel, but ultimately it's up to the President Cyril Ramaphosa, and there's been no word from the President or the Cabinet on what South Africa will do next. But protests like this continue around the country. There have been protests in main cities like Durban, Johannesburg, where we are, as well as Cape Town, and there are a number of protests planned for the coming days. Famida Miller, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
Now, Australia's Prime Minister has apologized for what he describes as one of the darkest chapters in the country's medical history. Antonio Albanese issued the national apology to survivors of the thalidomide tragedy. The medication caused birth defects in thousands of babies worldwide. As Sarah Clark reports from Brisbane, Australia.
Even before birth, Trish Jackson's body was irreparably damaged by thalidomide. Her mother took the drug to treat migraines and then discovered she was pregnant.
It's not just the arms. I had a lot of internal damage as well. I had 6 holes in my heart and lung problems, and I was a blue baby. Wasn't supposed to live, but here I am still here.
Thalidomide was billed as a wonder drug and was widely used in the 1950s and early 60s to treat morning sickness and nausea. But it caused severe birth defects, with many women miscarrying or losing their babies after birth. 60 years after it was taken off the shelves, the Australian Parliament has apologised.
We are sorry for the harm and the hurt and the hardship you have endured. We are sorry for all the cruelty you have had to bear. We are sorry for all the opportunities you have been denied.
A Senate committee found that the government failed to recall the drug despite global warnings, and that if it had acted more quickly, 20% of survivors may not have been affected. Worldwide, more than 10,000 children are believed to have been born with birth defects because of the use of thalidomide, with an estimated 40% dying within a year. And while the survivors here in Australia have welcomed the apology, they still believe that more can be done. That includes healthcare, which survivors say is still difficult to navigate.
I think it would be lovely to see that from this apology that the government step up and plug some of the holes that are in that program.
Thalidomide's with me 24/7. I get no break from it. It's impacted every aspect of my life: walking, dressing, eating, drinking, every aspect.
For Trish Jackson, this apology won't change everyday life and is too late for those who died. But she says it's a step forward in the healing process. Sarah Clark, Al Jazeera, Brisbane.
Now moving on, 17 Chai nationals have arrived home in Bangkok after being freed in Gaza, where Hamas held them 4 weeks. 19 Chais captured on October the 7th have been released so far. The government says another 13 nationals are still being held in Gaza. It also says 39 of its nationals were killed in the attack by Hamas. Al Jazeera's Jessica Wasentin is in Bangkok monitoring the latest development.
Now, 17 Thai nationals have arrived home in Bangkok after being freed in Gaza, where Hamas held them for weeks. 19 Thais captured on October the 7th have been released so far. The government says another 13 nationals are still being held in Gaza. It also says 39 of its nationals were killed in the attack by Hamas. Let's cross now to Bangkok. Jessica Washington is at the airport. Has been monitoring events there. So, Jessica, just tell us what's happened. I think they've landed only recently and now coming out to be shown to the public.
That's exactly right. They just passed through this corridor behind me only a few seconds ago, many of them waving, smiling at Al Jazeera's cameras. Certainly you could sense that they were feeling extremely relieved. They had broad smiles as they walked through. Now there is a press conference, and I'll just talk you through what has been said. The Thai Prime Minister delivered a message directly to them. He asked how they're doing, and one of the hostages said that, one of the captives rather, said that they are doing well and that they are pleased to know that they've had this moral support throughout the time that they have been in captivity. Another one also said that they weren't treated in a bad way, as he described conditions of the detention during their time as being held captive by Hamas. But of course, the Thai government has reiterated that it believes 9 Thai nationals remain in captivity, detained by Hamas. So that is their priority at this stage. And they have also asked the media not to ask too many questions of the released captives, noting that, of course, they must be exhausted after what they have been through these past few weeks. We've also met with some of the relatives who've been waiting at Bangkok's main airport to welcome their loved ones back home. One mother said that she travelled 4 to 5 hours on a bus just to be here to greet her son, who she has missed so dearly, and she has been so worried about them. Others that we've been speaking to say that they are waiting for their loved ones to return to the provinces, to their hometowns. They are preparing festivities for their loved ones as they celebrate an outcome which they feared may have never happened.
Jessica, thanks for that update there. Jessica Washington in Bangkok. Thank you.
I'm afraid a story from Bangkok brings us to the end of this news bulletin. But before we go, a quick recap of main headlines. President Barrow vows to boost infrastructural development in rural areas. Lack of storage facilities creates massive losses for watermelon vendors. ECOWAS concludes 4-day workshop on information sharing for gender development projects. The Mansa Congo Area Council's contractor testifies at the ongoing Local Government Commission of Inquiry. On international news, South Africans demand permanent Gaza ceasefire during pro-Palestinian march. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Do join us tomorrow for another bulletin. But in the meantime, do enjoy the rest of our programs and have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching.